Certainly the last few years have had its ups and downs, some fun and games, mostly games, as some people would say. But hopefully we're in a situation where we're coming out of the abnormal, we've done with the unprecedented, and we're trying to figure out what the new normal looks like. I know for a lot of people listening to this, whereas previously you were working from home or in some type of lockdown scenario, now for a lot of people adjusting to heading back into a working environment. And, well, it's not as easy as just jumping back on the horse. Joining us on the program now, mentor, coach, and, one-person social support network, Tanya Unkovich. Tanya, kia ora. Thanks for joining us today.
Kia ora. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to the weekend, and especially looking forward to next weekend because we get an extra day, right?
That's correct. That is correct. So...
And the heading back to work thing, I mean, you're probably in a unique situation, Tanya, because you were working from home. You were ahead of the curve on that one. That was part of what you did. Although, I must say, a very social person, being stuck at home with your husband and the cat, normally your social circle a bit wider than that.
Absolutely. Look, there's adjustments for all of us, isn't there? And I mean, even just the fact that we couldn't go to the gym for a while and couldn't go to CAFs, and then we start going out again, and it's all, you said up and down, it's sideways and back to front again. We've never experienced this. So it's like, okay, what is normal now? And, getting that confidence to get back out there in the world again.
I was talking to somebody at work the other day, because this is certainly the experience of Rema Media. A lot of people who were working from home are now encouraged to be working from the office again. From my situation, it got different in that some days I was the only person working from the office. Yes, I was still coming into work, but it was so weird and different. Whereas for some of my colleagues who just stopped coming into the office, still working from home, when they came back to the office, they expected to be just as it was where they left it. But of course, it's not the same. It never will be.
No, and look, there's a bit of grief around that too, isn't it? People come back and they go, oh my goodness. So there's a bit of emotion to work out and experience when you come back, because like you just said, it isn't the same, and we don't know if it's going to be the same, and there's always this level of uncertainty. Oh, well, do I get used to working from the office? Are we going to get slammed back home again? Everyone's still a little bit uncertain, don't quite know whether to take the mask on or off, and it's actually about just starting to take baby steps and step out of our comfort zone, because it is uncomfortable.
It's also it is, and it's also sort of something which we do corporately in our office situations in our workplaces. But there's a very individual aspect to this. Some people will be more comfortable at jumping straight in for a hug and a hongy than others, perhaps.
Yeah. And look, and that's where we just respect each other's wishes and understand that we are all different. And I always say, be playful. If something's a little bit difficult to confront, then be playful with it.
Yeah.
And there's always ways to communicate without offending and that sort of thing. So just, we need to talk about it too. If you do feel uncomfortable, if you are feeling a bit nervous, then just put your hand up and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Yep. Can you help me through it a bit, actually? I need a bit of coaching through this, because I don't want to be stuck like this. Some people just don't want to be stuck like that in that fear.
Exactly. There is a bit of a transitional time. There is a bit of time where we'll all get used to the new normal and figure it out, as I say, individually or corporately, perhaps not expecting things to just slot back in where we left off.
No, it takes time. And, one day at a time, anything can change, right? But just keep stepping forward. So long as we don't step backwards, just keep stepping forward. If you feel that you're gaining a little bit of confidence and then something happens and you step back a tiny, tiny bit, don't step back too much. Just go, okay, this was just a little hiccup. I'm going to keep stepping forward. And do that as an organization as well. Just keep looking forward, keep anticipating what could happen, and keep the staff excited about life again and something to look forward to. That is so important.
Another aspect that people may be noticing is, you're talking about time before, the whole concept of time management. Those are very different skill sets when we're working at home than when we're in a work environment. I'm not sure whether there's more distraction at home or more distraction at work. Perhaps it depends on your home situation or your work life. but they're different environments, and the way in which we work, the way we manage our time will be different in each of those environments.
It's very tempting to get distracted when you're at home, start a task and then go, oh, I'll finish it later or I'll finish it tomorrow. I think there's a lot of value in starting a task and seeing it through to the end, if you can do that, which is something you'd probably do more if you were at your office desk at work, right? Because you're going to focus on the outcome and get it done. When you're at home, you might just, just go and quickly make a cup of tea and then come back and finish it. That not only distracts you, but it stops the momentum and gets you into an unhealthy habit of being a little bit sloppy.
There is, I suppose, the productivity downside of working from the office as well, because actually the social aspect of asking your co-workers how their weekend was, or look, if you haven't seen them for 3 months, catching up on and spending that time together, that's part of team building. That's part of having good working relationships with your colleagues. It may not seem productive from your manager's point of view, but actually building good teams pays dividends.
It absolutely is. And the thing that I always say is when you then start working, focus on the outcome, all right? So people often go, I'm really useless at managing my time. Actually, what you're not so good at is focusing your attention. You know, the attention gets broken on the task that you're doing at the time. So instead of going, okay, my time management isn't great, well, maybe reframe that and go, is my attention management good? So that gives you a lot more time when you start a task and finish it to spend in socializing and catching up and team building as well. So I think that's a really important thing. Always focus on the task that you are doing at the time.
And as we were saying earlier on, different people responding different ways. Extroverts will be going, hey, isn't it fantastic that we're all back to work? And then there's people who are saying, you know what? I liked it more when there was less people in the office and I could find a car park.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't this a great way now to go, wow, isn't this interesting? I've learned something different about colleague, my friends, or whatever, you know. So just, again, be playful with it. Make it an exercise of, hey, this is something I've learned about you that I didn't know since we've come back. So it's a really good team building exercise to put out there what you have noticed is different, not only about yourself, but your team.
And that's, I suppose, giving each other some grace in that space, having a little bit more understanding of where some of the scars might be for people, because there has been, I think, some level of trauma for everybody that's been involved in this process. Giving each other a little bit more grace actually could end up building stronger relationships, stronger teams in the long run.
Oh, look, I 100% agree with that. Showing more compassion to others, not ever forgetting to show compassion towards yourself, because it's so very easy, isn't it, for us to beat ourselves up for not doing things perfectly. So don't forget yourself as well in that process. No,
very, very good and important advice as well. Hey, as people are heading back to work, I imagine that you're getting back into work rhythms, although in some ways you never left with that working from home thing. But if people wanted to connect with you and perhaps get some skills to help them, if they're struggling in that space, they need somebody to encourage them and speak positive words into their life. That's part of the services you offer, Tanya?
Absolutely. And I've got so many free resources on my website, tanyarankovich.com, or on my YouTube channel, all of our past interviews there. And you're bound to find something and learn from something there.
Tanya, have yourself a very good weekend. Always a pleasure to chat with you. Thanks for your time today.
You are so welcome.
It is 27 past 4 news headlines coming up in just a moment. Heading there with Elevation Worship on Rima. This is Million Little Miracles.